In this episode, we go for a shakedown run to visit the final resting place of two American heroes with our good friend Greg to see just how capable his stock two-door Toyota Tacoma is before it goes under the knife. So join us as we take Jeeps, Toyotas, and Fords on this lesser-known, infamous Colorado Trail, T33. So there are a lot of trails in Colorado, and as an out-of-towner, you may not be familiar with all of them. There's the big ones like over in Telluride and Ouray area that a lot of people know about, are very famous, but there's also a lot of other trails that are pretty much only known to the locals, and that's what we're on today, is a trail called T33, which is just west of Denver, and it takes you to a plane crash site.
From a Lockheed Martin T33.
Yeah, from a Lockheed Martin T33.
Crashed in 1965, 2 pilots lost their lives.
And so there's a short hike where you can go and see that crash site, and it's kind of hidden back here in the woods. According to Trails Off-Road, T33 is rated as difficult, but with Greg guiding in his Tacoma, we weren't sure what to make of how hard it might be. Greg has been wheeling for more than 25 years, and throughout that time he's owned some pretty awesome rigs, including Land Rovers, G-Wagons, Jeeps, and more. So we felt confident with his guidance. I actually use Trails Off-Road, but I don't have it pulled up right now because I figured you knew where you were going, so I was just gonna...
Okay, yeah, right on. Curious. Yeah, I do have the trail downloaded.
After a short drive through a beautiful old-growth pine forest, we reached our first obstacle, a series of small rock ledges. Nobody had any trouble navigating these, and they were a great warm-up for what was to come. Around waypoint number 4, Greg had a little trouble in his Tacoma, but it was nothing a little skinny pedal and momentum couldn't fix.
A little bit more driver. Nope. Maybe more this way? Yeah!
Greg wasn't the only one who had a little trouble on this obstacle. Our friend Dustin in their Bronco had some trouble as well. But again, it was the same situation, nothing that a little skinny pedal and some momentum couldn't solve. This trail is short, only about 1.8 miles, so when the obstacles come, they don't stop until nearly the end. Between obstacle 4 and 5, you're presented with 3 different routes. Easier on the left, medium in the middle, and harder on the right. And it was cool to see all the different vehicles tackle the route they thought was best for them. Hey Christian, does that way look harder on that side? So should I back up and go that way? Yeah, I think you're right. It's on the right. I'm gonna back up and go that way. Just after the halfway point, we made our way to obstacle number 5, probably one of the toughest sections on the whole trail.
The approach angle.
Yeah, he's clear. Put your front lockers on.
I should have tried.
I don't want him to tip into this. That's my issue.
I don't think he will. He has
your front lockers on?
He has the clearance and everything.
Okay,
he
just go
shouldn't
straight
tip.
Slow. Feel that rock first and then climb up it.
Hi, dude.
There you go. There you go. Slow, yeah. This obstacle was a little weird because you could see marks on the tree where people had tilted into it, but when you actually attempted it, nobody tilted, despite that big hole on the left. So I'm not quite sure who or how someone might have hit that tree. From here, we made it through to obstacle 6, which turned out to be a little challenging, and to make it more interesting, we decided that nobody was allowed to use lockers. After Obstacle 6, there really isn't anything challenging that's worth noting, so we made our way to the parking area of the T33 trailhead. Keep in mind that space up here is limited. We did our best to try to fit 4 rigs, and it got tight and kind of awkward to space everybody in. In case you're not familiar with the incident that happened here in 1965, First Lieutenant Donald B. Darby veered from his flight plan while piloting a T-33 trainer jet with U.S. Air Force Major J.E. Curry and collided with the mountainside. Looking at these drone shots of the area and thinking about the technology they had back in 1965, it's easy to see how this could have happened. It's pretty sad to see just how devastating this accident was. As the hike isn't very long, maybe about a half a mile, it doesn't take you to one particular location of the wreckage, because the wreckage is literally scattered all over the mountainside.
It's like scattered all over back in here.
Yeah, this is not survivable. Look at this, Quinn. This is part of the wing. Yeah. And here's the cockpit. Oh man.
Yeah, there's another chunk up there.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, so you won't be a year after. She's still technically a baby. She'll be a year, October 12th.
Even though these brave Americans lost their lives serving their country, it's good to know that their memory will live on in the adventurous people who make the trek out here to visit their final resting place. So after we spent some time at the crash site, we packed up and headed back down the trail. Here are some highlights from our journey down.
There you go. When you get up on that, you'll come driver. There you go. What are we stuck in?
Yeah, send it a little bit.
There you go. Just don't run me over. You're gonna have to be quicker than that, Christian.
You underestimate this thing. Ankles are good, hardly hits anywhere.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's crazy, I just can't believe it.
Oh, did you rip your flaps off? I was gonna tell you that.
One of them. Well, it's funny because you know how I ripped it off? All this stuff we're doing, fine. Up there, backing up to give them room, I back into a tree on the ground. And that's what caused it to rip off. Well, it's like, of course.
That's how we did it at our tailgate. It was a branch that was sticking straight out, and we just went punk right into it, backing up. I was like, that's so lame.
It's like you do all the hard trails, and then it's like something in the garage hits your car.
Right, and you're like, and that's where you get the damage from?
Right.
So I think I'm most impressed with Greg on this trail. He did amazing.
Greg's always impressive.
He did amazing in that little Tacoma. And I have to say, when you're off-roading, speed is always your enemy. Like, you can get in the most trouble going faster, right? But when you have fully open front and rear diffs, you have to go faster. And so to be able to go faster and control it in a safe way and get over all those obstacles, it was really impressive. And it was really cool to see the plane crash site as well. There were some spots where you could actually see the aluminum look like it was melting like a candle, like candle wax, which is crazy to think about because aluminum melts at 1200 degrees.
Did you look that up?
Yeah, I did.
No, good.
Yeah,
Fun fact.
1,200 degrees, and you can look around the edges of the debris and see, and it just looks like melting wax from a candle. So it was a cool trail. It wasn't too long. It had just the right amount of obstacles, and it gave you lots of different options, so you could choose the difficulty for your rig, which was nice.
No? Are we talking about Coney?
Oh my God, Coney. So after we did T33, we decided we were going to go do Coney Flats, and that trail was just miserable. And I don't know, it seems to be the favorite trail of a lot of people in the area, and
So it's probably just a weird season, or at the end of the summer, and I don't know, but there was like hardly any obstacles on it, and it was just rocky where you had to go.
It was super rocky. It was like
2 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it was like there was all these rocks maybe, and then like sand had kind of packed in, and maybe that's what made it smooth every other time. But because we've had so much rain this summer, it just washed away all of the sand, and so it was just like, I mean, it was just for like 2 hours. It was horrible.
Yeah, and you go through a really beautiful section of forest, but there's no views on it, there's no overlook, there's nothing you're getting to.
Well, you get to the lake at the top, which is like a super.
Well,
it's supposed to be
not at the top, but at the end.
Yeah, it's kind of a top area, and it's like a super deep water crossing. But other than that, I mean, I would not do that trail again. So we're probably not going to make a video on it because of that. It was horrible.
It's just Chris saying,
we were just
this sucks.
miserable the whole time. It was really bad. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one.